you hate it now, but wait till you drive it.
The Kibbe and Friends Show.
What it is, bro?
Presented by Holley Performance, makers of the world's best air and fuel delivery systems. Featuring Rob Kibbe.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Justin Corn Dog Cornett.
New guy's in the corner puking his guts out.
And show producer Bernie McPartland.
This is the DJ 3000, and it has 3 distinct varieties of inane chatter.
We're talking cars.
Do you feel this vehicle is safe for highway travel?
Yes, I do.
Diving deep on the topics that matter most.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
And totally redeem yourself.
And the Dukes of Hazzard. Available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you get your content.
Turn up the volume.
This is the Kibbe and Friends Show.
Kibbe and Friends Show, episode number 292. Available in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, soon YouTube Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Instagram, normal YouTube, I think, and Patreon. I'm your host, Rob Kibbe, period.
Yes, you are. And music, we're going to have to start singing, or is that left up to Bernie?
No, it's their rip-off thing to make you watch YouTube.
Ah.
With me, as always, is co-host Justin Corndog Cornett, period.
Yes, I am. For as long as I can be.
The next 58%. And in the glass booth of emotion, with his guns, his bacon, and his Cadillacs, producer Bernie McPartland. Welcome, Bern, from the line of totality. Is that where you were today?
I was directly in the line of totality. I was totaddled. I was teetotaled. I was in the dark. I was master of the shadow. I was king of the solar curtain. And now, just a part of the never-ending story of 3 guys in a somewhat useless, pointless use of time.
All right, before Corndog's laptop dies, let's just get this part over with right now.
Now I'm only falling apart. There's nothing I can do. A total eclipse of the heart.
Oh, yeah.
I love that song. It really is good. I looked it up on YouTube today. It has over 1 billion views. 1 billion.
It might be trending today, actually.
Do you guys know who the singer was? Artist?
Was that Pat Benatar, or who is that? I don't know.
That's a great guess. I would have believed that. How about you, Bern? You're a radioman. Probably played that song.
I did play that song. Bonnie Tyler, is that correct?
Bang! Way to go. Was that in the news?
Yes. No.
Wow.
Not at all.
Not lying?
Not lying.
Hey.
Just on his playlist.
I would not have known that name. I just looked up the song, and that's who it was. And she's on the one-hit wonder list. This might be a day or two in your past. Today was the big solar eclipse. I was not in the path of totality. In 2017, I drove to see the thing for real. Here, it was only 85%. It was still fine, but 85% is not 100. And I will tell you, it did not even get dark here. Not in the slightest. But it did where Bern is. How was it, Bern? Was it pretty fun?
It was fun. And it was amazing how long it took for things to get dark. And they really did not get dark until it went right into the center. So that tells you how powerful the sun is that even, 10, 15% or 9 or 8% of sunlight is still enough to remarkably light your world. And then when it right in, it was almost as if someone was turned on a dimmer in a room and it just went zoo. It was the most amazing thing. I was in the front yard. 2 or 3 of the neighbors were out there and all the ladies were like, oh wow, that's amazing. Yeah. I did my best to try to get a couple of pictures of it. I put my cell phone up through the solar glasses and tried to snap a couple of pictures, but the lenses are so crappy. It's a good guess at what the picture really looked like, but hopefully that's something I will never forget. It sure makes you feel small.
Yeah.
In the scale of things that we care about.
It was me and overcast and cloudy here. So We didn't get the full effect. I don't know what percentage we would have been. I think we would have been more than you, Kibbe. I think we were like in the 90s. But like I said, the clouds, they just kind of killed it. But at least with the cloud coverage, as the clouds would move, you could still see the eclipse without actually using glasses or whatever, because the clouds were kind of serving as a filter. But it didn't get as dark as it did back in 2017. And I don't know what percentage we were then. But Bernie, you could probably answer this. Where you were at, I just remember in 17, it was like all the birds started chirping and the frogs and the crickets because they thought it was like evening time. Was it the same way there?
It was quiet. It was quiet for some reason. There's not a lot of animals around here. We have squirrels and we have birds and that kind of thing. But it just seemed like there was no traffic all of a sudden. Yeah. I don't recall hearing any aircraft going overhead. I don't recall much sound at all. And I didn't start thinking about that till it was almost over. But it was very cool. I mean, 17, when it was here, we got a little partial of it. And you're right, it really didn't get dark at all. It just kind of, you could tell there was a haze or something. We didn't get the whole thing. And I was in a high rise at the time looking out the window, so it didn't get the full effect. And even last October, when we had a partial, it wasn't like this at all. So I hope this is something I carry with me for a long time. And man, it was as if it was meant to be. We had clouds this morning and they rolled in and all the weather people were worried about it. And in my location over the world headquarters here, the skies just kind of opened up. The last 5 minutes, completely clear. It was amazing.
I remember driving to see the one in 27. By the way, everyone, this is your automotive and pop culture show. We will talk automotive obviously. And pop culture, but it's this or taxes. What do you want to talk about? These are both the two topical things. And the NCAA tournament's going on right now, but it'll be over by then. You want to hear about the eclipse. In 2017, we drove to see it, and I remember following the path of totality, and we started in like southeast Nebraska, and woke up that morning, and damn, it was 100% overcast. And I mean, like, oh, crap. We planned around this. So I got everybody up, including my dad at the time, and hit the road at 6 a.m. and just started driving along the path looking for any break in sun. It was close. I remember getting to Boonville, Missouri with maybe half an hour left to totality. I don't remember what the terms are when it starts and when it ends, but I know totality is right in the middle. But it had started, and we were getting nervous. We did not get to a place with complete cloudless skies. But once you put those little goggles on, even today here in Iowa, it was cloudy, but once you put the goggles on, man, the sun burns right through it. You can see it perfectly with the little goggles on.
I used my welding helmet. It works.
Did it?
Oh, yeah. I actually had to turn the shade down a little bit because it was too dark. You just couldn't see anything. So
my neighbor did that. He used his welding helmet, and he said it didn't work because it was a newer helmet, and it was one of those auto-dimming circuits on it, and it just wouldn't react good enough, so he had to go back to his glasses. And what I did is I put a pair of like 3.0 readers over the top of my solar glasses, and so I got a little bit of magnification, and it made it a little clearer. It was great. I don't think you saw where you were, but during totality, you could see a little, from our perspective, solar flare coming out at about 5:30 on the clock, noon and 6 on the sun, about 5:30, just this orange, long tail of a thing. It's amazing looking. No telling how many hundreds of thousands of miles that thing was long, but just a little picture, just a little donut, just a little, what do you call that? A biscuit of something special on the end of it.
Bonus.
A bonus.
Bern, since you were the only one to see the full effect this time, I'd like to play for you a news article from a TV show called Space, the Final Frontier. Now, this is Harry Carey in one of his final shows, hosting Space, the Final Frontier. Let's see if you agree with this.
Hi, Doctor. Have you ever seen an eclipse?
Yeah, I've seen many, yes.
If you stare at it head on, it'll burn your eyes out.
Well, it's not best to stare at the sun during an eclipse,
But it's hard not to. I once took a pair of binoculars and stared at the sun for over an hour.
Why would you do that?
Curiosity, I guess. Heck, I'm curious like a cat. I have a couple of friends that call me Whiskers.
Because you're curious like a cat?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Did you stare at the sun for an hour with binoculars?
No, I did not.
He thought about it, though.
I did wonder if I had some binoculars here in the house. Dad has a couple of good sets, and I think I'd taken them both back home. But I thought about that. You know, if the glasses worked, the binoculars would be awesome.
I was going to mention to you, I was going to ask you to cover this no matter what. And I had the chopper, you know, all lined up here for you. And then it turned out you just went outside to your front yard. So I took the chopper back.
I'm surprised it was still running. I sent it in for its bi-monthly, you know, maintenance agreement thing after I brought it back from Houston.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, I got it, and you can't have it. It is here.
Mama always told me not to look into the eyes of the sun.
Well, everybody waiting for the big reveal of the review we're going to do today. We don't know what it is, but we communally are going to decide it. I was not planning to be here today. You guys are helping me out. I had scheduled around some family stuff, and the family stuff flipped. Dallas joined the track team on Friday. Today is Monday. He's running his first track meet tomorrow, and he's anchoring like one of the races. I was not expecting that. So I was expecting to be free, but I am not free. So I did not have time to review anything or tell you guys what we were going to review. But do I have a deal for you? Here's what we're going to do. Now,
sounds like a used car salesman.
Little thinking music here, whatever you like. I went to my high school class reunion, 30th class reunion.
Oh, how do you stand it?
It was fine. But the theme of this discussion is you can never go home again. Okay? You can never go home again. I can tell you about the reunion if you want. But I went through some of our greatest reviews of all time that we have not replayed. Or not replayed exhaustively, but basically not replayed at all. Okay? Here's the list. Still got that thinking music going?
Oh, yeah.
Really think on this one. And for our man Corn Dog, because he would ask in advance, I separated it into Dukes of Hazzard or not Dukes of Hazzard. So we're starting with not Dukes of Hazzard. Is everyone clear? Again, the goal was give you something we haven't repeated ad nauseum or ever. So the first is the review of Spaceballs. This is the only Finnegan one on the list, I think. That was a long time ago. One of my favorite movies ever. Spaceballs. Great automotive movie.
Kind of goes with the Eclipse in a way, sort of.
It's a spacey theme. The next one is Tucker. You guys remember that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed the review. It was really fun. Dumb and Dumber. Fits our style.
Mini clips from the van ride, so yeah.
Stroker Ace. I don't know that we've ever replayed it. If we have, I don't remember doing that. Here's one we have never replayed. John Bronco. With our man Cody Young.
Yeah, I missed that one.
That was a good one. I like that.
Hey, I missed it.
Gone in 60 Seconds, the Nicolas Cage one. I don't think we've replayed
We haven't re-aired that one.
So that's a particularly good one. There are others that we have done, certainly, but we've rerun them in the past. And this year, we're trying to not rerun stuff. But we're in a jam, damn it. We're in a pickle. We got to rerun something. So to recap, Spaceballs, Tucker, Dumb and Dumber, Stroker Ace, John Bronco, or Gone in 60 Seconds. Now, I'm going to give you one more that crosses the bridge to Dukes of Hazzardness. The movie Forever Young. I don't think we have replayed that one. Now, that's the 1992 Mel Gibson movie that just happens to feature the General Lee. Or does it?
For just a split second.
For just a little bit.
Whoever timed that was perfect.
For some Dukes-related stuff, again, you can never go home again. I know we have done these at least once, maybe twice. The original Dukes filming location breakdown by Corn Dog before he was co-host of this show. It's one of our most highly downloaded episodes ever. Corn Dog.
6.
Yeah, I think we almost hit 8. So we got that one. We have a 2014 interview that we used in a later episode from the Muscle Car Place, but it was with Ilya Popov, the guy from Gem Effects, and was talking about building the 2005 movie cars. So there's that. And then we have, and this was Corn Dog's suggestion, the Dukes of Hazzard reunion movie, the second one, done in 2000. That's the one where his car was jumped. Toby Keith's music was featured in that one. We have not really discussed or done any tributes to Toby Keith since his passing, but that was one there. And the reunion is obviously related to a reunion. Anyway,
yeah.
Spaceballs, Tucker, Dumb and Dumber, Stroker Ace, John Bronco, Gone in 60 Seconds, Forever Young, Corn Dog's Dukes filming locations, building movie generalies with Ilya Popov, or the Dukes reunion 2000. We really got to whittle this down. That's a tough one. And we can't do them all. Can't pick them all.
John Bronco's out.
John Bronco's out?
No one John Bronco. He is anti-Bronco.
I was going to say maybe John Bronco because that movie and the one with Finnegan in it, that's bringing that kind of fourth dimension back to the show, right? It's not just us. There's somebody else's opinion going on here. Probably a lot more intelligent conversation because they're actually comments from people who may know what they're talking about and they're fan favorites.
Okay. Okay.
And they haven't been done in a while. I had completely forgotten about John Bronco, but that was a brilliant show. Thank you, Cody.
Corn Dog was not in that one. Is that right?
No, I wasn't.
That's what he said. Yeah.
I missed that one.
Corn Dogs, what is your vote? So you got Spaceballs, Tucker, Dumb and Dumber, Stroker Ace, John Bronco, Gone in 60 Seconds, Forever Young, Duke's filming locations with you, Corn Dog, 2014 interview with Elliot Popoff, Duke's Reunion 2000.
Okay, for the non-Dukes, I'm down to Gone in 60 Seconds or Spaceballs. And then just because of the space theme, you know, it kind of goes with the solar eclipse. Not really, but, you know, whatever.
Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, stuff in outer space is affecting us. So there you go.
That's true.
And it does have a flying RV.
It is in the heavens.
We're used to the stretch factor here, you know.
How about for the Dukes themed ones? Which would you pick there?
I liked the Ilya Popov interview, but one that you didn't mention that would kind of fall right in there with that interview would be the interview that you did with the Values Days.
Oh,
that was also at SEMA, wasn't it?
Years later, but yes.
Yeah.
So that's true.
That would be a good one. And I guess depending on how long each interview is, you might be able to bundle them together. And on the reunion part, the Toby Keith was in the 2000. They didn't really call it the reunion, but I was referring to in our text chain, you know, maybe doing the 97 reunion, but they actually called it reunion and you came from a reunion. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm down to those 4-ish. And maybe if Forever Young is an honorable mention.
I will admit I'm torn. I love the movie Spaceballs, and it is the only space-themed one on here. It wasn't my first choice, but I think you both selected it as an option, which, you know, that's why we have these discussions. I had no idea. Oh, man. If only we could live request from the crowd some type of, I wonder what they would say. Would they say Spaceballs or John Bronco?
Well, you know what? You could actually put a poll up, and by the time Bernie does his magic on editing all the ums and ahs out of this, then we may have a tally of what the vote is, and then pick it on at the end.
If we would agree to put 3 on that list, he could put that list out right now while we're on doing this, and we could do the news and stretch a little bit. I'm sure he's got some sort of infantile game he wants us to play. We can get through that, and by the time all that's over, we may have an answer.
We may have 3 votes, 1 for each.
These games are exhausting. Take a lot more time. I think putting it down to 3 is a good idea. Got to be 3. It will not be live during the show, but at the conclusion of this, whatever the results are, will be what you hear at the review section. How does that sound? All
That's fair enough.
Okay.
If this isn't a good definition of winging it, then I don't know what is.
Well, we already know 2 votes. Finnegan's going to vote for himself. Cody's going to vote for himself.
Corn Dog could vote for himself, technically.
And here we are, right back at square one.
And here we are, neutral.
Yeah, the filming locations I think you've re-aired that one before, I believe.
I think we re-aired that a few times. And I think the Spaceballs one has at least been aired more than once. We'll figure it out. Whatever you hear will be news to us as well. I'm sure it will be magical. Now, I went to my 30th class reunion. It was fine. You know, out of a class of 300 and some, I don't recall the number, there were about 40 or 50 people there. I've never gone to one of these before. I don't know that I ever will again. I'm still pretty close with all of my real important high school friends. But it was interesting to see people that you literally have not seen since you were 18 years old. That was kind of interesting. Some of them I could place, some of them I couldn't. You know, I'm sure it was vice versa. The lady that organized the whole thing did something pretty smart. She put your high school yearbook picture on your name tag.
Ah.
And Lord, did that help.
Yeah.
Oh, man, did that help.
30 years out, everybody's going to look pretty significantly different, I would imagine. I went to a 10-year reunion, and there were some people there that even 10 years did not recognize. But it was over in Georgia. So technically for me, it was 12 years because I did 9th and 10th grade in Georgia and then 11th and 12th over here in Mississippi. And so I was invited to the Georgia reunion. And so I wanted to go back to that. And so, yeah, there was 12 years out, but still there was a few people that I did not even recognize until I saw their name. And I thought, crap, you look nothing alike.
I'll tell you, there were some common trends that had happened to people. Number one, there were some more bald heads in there. More bald than mine. I mean, bald. There were quite a few people using readers.
Okay.
Common thing. I had them. There's some gray hair in there. What do you think the other most common thing was that was different between people?
Grandparents.
Not kid related, just physically.
Oh, a lot of increased pant sizes for sure.
Yeah.
There you go. And that was why in some cases you needed that name tag. Like, damn, I have no idea who you are. Again, I don't know if I'll do one again. There were some people it was kind of neat to connect with. The most common question I got was, hey, you still got that white car? And that was kind of cool. If I was remembered for anything, it was that Chevelle.
That's cool.
That made me feel good. Then the second most common thing was, do you really have a General Lee? That was another common question. People of that era. We got Dallas's 944 blown apart, waiting on parts. Clutch master cylinder coming in, I hope, today. The old one came out, it was original, and it was leaking like a sieve. I got one of those, I think it's Motomatic. You know those little self-pressurization things to bleed brakes?
Yeah.
Is it Motomatic? Is that the name, the brand name?
Maybe so. There's a bunch of different brands.
It looks like a 58-cent plastic jug with a pressure pump on the top.
It looks like a
garden sprayer, yeah.
Yeah, just a smaller version of it.
I got one of those, and this car is new enough to have a screw-on cap for the master cylinder, for the reservoir. And the same reservoir feeds the clutch that feeds the brakes. In this case, the rear brakes share the same component of the reservoir as does the master cylinder. And then there's a slave cylinder right down underneath. So I went ahead and bought everything. You know, if one's bad, the other's going to go bad. So just replace them both. But I'm excited to try this pressurization thing out. I've always had a helper. You know, somebody go in and pump, and then hold it there. And are you sure you're pumping? And like, I'm excited to try this, but I have no experience with it. I think the benefit is that you can fill like the bug sprayer with fluid and it will self-feed, assuming it stays under pressure a little bit.
I have not used one of those, but I would be interested to know how well it works, though.
I would like to know, too. It's just about brake bleeding time around the world headquarters here, and I have many cars to do, and I would like to know.
I'll definitely tell you, you can get all sorts of adapters. So I got the European adapter that fits on pretty much any European car reservoir, but they have GM ones and Ford ones. And
does it also have the, for your older master cylinders, plate with the two chains that wrap around?
If it does, I couldn't figure that out. I did look just very briefly to see if I could buy that as an adapter along with it. I could easily get one to go onto any Willwood reservoir of any kind. And on my Chevelle, that's exactly what I would have. I know exactly what you're talking, like a big dual master cylinder from any 60s or 70s era car. Yeah.
Right.
If there's one for that, I didn't see it, but could be wrong. I will let you guys know. I'm excited to try it.
Yeah.
But I've read that it could make a terrible mess as well. Find out. Then also, I went and saw Dallas's Legends car this weekend. We picked one out. Hopefully going to pick it up this next weekend. They're going to scale it for me, throw a seat in it, and stick number 13 on the door. Ready to go.
Very good.
Are you doing the same kind of graphics like you did on the go-kart?
Oh, like the Jeff Gordon theme? So probably not. The car itself is red. Like it's painted red. And the bodies on these things are fiberglass. But the car is painted red, and it's kind of cool looking as it is. Putting a wrap on stuff is expensive. Like when you're doing the day glow stuff, I mean, it looks awesome. But wrapping Dallas's car that's what we blew the sponsorship money on.
Especially if you're bumping a bunch.
Yeah.
You have to redo it.
He's come up with a few themes, and like he's got one kind of smoky eunuch theme, and he's got a few different themes. We'll pick out something.
Did he go for the sedan or the coupe style body?
This one's the coupe.
Okay.
Yeah. For those unfamiliar, a coupe has a trunk lid and a sedan doesn't. But from a functional standpoint, the sedan has a little more rear CG in it. There's more roll cage on that car. I saw them both without bodies, and I mean, the sedan roll cage goes all the way back to the door of the sedan, like you would expect. So I just asked them, like, which one has an advantage? And they said it really doesn't really matter. They drive differently. So for a while, sedans were it, especially in dirt track racing. They were just ripping it up. And nobody could tell you specifically why, but all of the winning cars were sedans. And then this past year, not so much. So a dude came in with a coupe and just tore everybody to pieces.
That's interesting.
So we went with the coupe, and it has a 37 Chevy front end on it. So when you look at the front, it doesn't look like a Ford, it looks like a Chevy.
That's awesome. I love that. And may I suggest for a theme, the Animal House Deathmobile?
I'll leave that up to Dallas. He sent me so I'm his sponsor pimp here. He is going for sponsorship levels. He has 4 different ones, but he has no social media presence. So I have to request on my social media for him for all this stuff. It's just like raising money for high school stuff. Jeez.
That's fine. Well, congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm excited for that. We'll definitely have a Kibbe and Friends sticker on there somewhere. Do we want to get to the Bernie on the news? Nah, let's not. Let's do one quick celebrity game.
I knew it.
This will keep people happy and appeased. And we've never done anything like this one before. Now, here's how it's going to work. I think it helps you guys when I give you a solid clue. I'm going to give you either the person's name or the reference, but you have to choose before we go. So
give us the name and the birthday, and we'll do the reference.
Negative name. You've got to come back with the kind of vehicle that is represented in the reference and the person's age within a year. So you have to say in advance, I want the name or I want the reference.
Okay.
There's only 2 for each of you. Super easy. All right, who's up first? Bernie.
Name.
All right, Bernie. All right, you want the name. The name, Bern, is John Ratzenberger. John Ratzenberger. You ready?
Wow. Okay.
You're here! Thank the manufacturer you're alive! Matt, you're here! I can't believe it! Oh, you are a sight for sore headlights! I'm so sorry I lost you, boss. I'll make it up to you. Mac, I can't believe you're here.
All right, that's a tough one, Bert. That might be a killer. What was the reference for John Ratzenberger I just played?
John Ratzenberger was playing the character of Mac, the car hauler in the movie Cars.
Bang! What kind of car hauler was he?
He was a Mack truck.
Bang! Great. John Ratzenberger within a year. How old?
63.
Is he in the news?
No.
Okay. He is 77.
He is now.
Yeah. He is 77 going on 78. Remember, this is automotive pop culture. If you don't have the automotive, you make it up. Corn Dog, you are up next. Actor's name or reference?
Let's go with the name.
The name is Crispin Glover. Crispin Glover.
Hey, you, get your damn hands off her. You really think I ought to swear? Yes, definitely. Damn it, George, swear.
What was the reference I just gave you for Crispin Glover?
That would be Back to the Future.
Bang! Way to go. What's the most famous car in Back to the Future?
It's the DeLorean.
Bang! For fun, you would know this. I don't know the answer. What was Doc Brown's car? Yeah, what was that car?
I remember, I'm drawing a blank now, but it was probably like a Packard or a Hudson, if I recall.
That is something cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. How old is Crispin Glover, though?
Let's see here. That's George McFly. Let's go with 70.
He is 59.
Wow.
Shocking to me, too. All right, Bernie, back to you.
Before we do, how old was John Ratzenberger? I want to be accurate.
77.
77. Got it. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you bet. I've changed the rules of the game, Bern. Now that you have gone with the name first, you cannot opt for that again. So I'm going to give you the reference after the clip. Then you've got to give me the name.
Okay.
So then what happened? What do you think happened? I woke up, I took the belt off my neck, and I got in my car and I got out of there.
Talk about a wild weekend, right?
I thought I was going to shoot my way out. What are you going to do, though, bar mitzvahs?
Bernie, the reference is a very recent review called The Other Guys. Who was the actor talking about bar mitzvahs in The Other Guys?
And I even gave you his name. When we did that review. Man, I've had a lot of iced tea since then.
You commented on other stuff he'd been in.
Yeah, he was in Step Brothers. He played a guy in The Office. That's all I can do. That's all I got.
His first name And my first name, and I think technically your first name, are all the same.
Bert?
Close.
I don't have a clue. Sorry.
Rob Riggle. Rob Riggle.
It sounds like a command.
Yep. No point for Rob Riggle for you. What was Rob Riggle driving in The Other Guys? He was driving a police car. The most common police car at the time would be...
See, I never got in trouble with the police. I was a good boy.
Mm-hmm. So 10 years ago, all the cops were driving what?
LTDs.
What?
5.0 Mustangs? I don't know.
What does everybody cut the body off of to make a General Lee?
Crown Vics.
Yes, thank God. Yeah. Way to go, Bernie. You got it. All right. And how old is Rob Riggle from The Other Guys driving a Crown Vic?
What is this, 20 questions? He is 57?
53. Okay, you're terrible at this.
I know that.
Finally, over to Corn Dog. Corn Dog, I'll tell you the reference right now. This might be why we have to end up reviewing this. This was just kind of dumb luck. The reference is Spaceballs. Here is your clue.
Who is he?
He's an asshole, sir.
I know that. What's his name?
That is his name, sir. Asshole. Major asshole.
And his cousin?
He's an asshole too, sir. Gun is made first class Philip Asshole.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow? Yo! I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
That should be a good one.
Yeah.
That was a clear reference.
It's the dude with the glasses.
It sure is.
And I can't remember his name for nothing. If I heard it, then I would know that's him.
His last name isn't Moron.
It's Riggle.
No.
Rick Moran.
Oh, that's so close. Rick Moran. One more syllable.
Doe. Moranis. That's it.
Yeah, Rick Moranis. We'll give you 70%
Moranis.
points for that one. Bang! Way to go. What was the feature vehicle Rick Moranis was chasing in the movie Spaceballs?
I don't know the proper term for it, but it was the RV that was mimicking the Millennium Falcon.
It was, and do you happen to know what make it was?
Oh,
one of the most famous out there.
Yeah, Winnebago.
Winnebago. Way to go. That's two. You already got this game one. How old is Rick Moranis within a year?
I'm going to go back with 70.
You got it. He's 70.
Really?
Yep. He'll be 71 this month, I should say. These are all April birthdays. I guess I should have prefaced that. Way to go, Corn Dog. Once again, your mind...
Skin of my teeth.
...knows no bounds. Speaking of a mind that does no bounds... Up next is award-winning newsman Bernie McPartland with Bernie on the News. This is the segment of the show where you can tap out a little bit, take a break, hit fast forward 18 times, and by the time you're done with that, he might be too. Bern, we love you. They love you. You love you. Take it away, Bern, with the news.
Before we get started, for accuracy, how old was Rick Moranis?
70.
70. Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
News sponsored by the staff at National Parts Depot, serving us in the hobby now for their 48th year. This is not news, guys, but prices on everything in recent months have gone sky high.
Mm-hmm.
Over the moon in some cases, and we all hope that they crater at some point. In the meantime,
yes,
NPD is doing their best to eclipse the effect of high prices that threaten to cast a shadow of totality over your project. It's a stellar path they've been holding for almost half a century. So help out. Start your parts exploration today. 800-874-7595, npdlink.com. They find, they source, they stock the best. There is a difference, and they got the goods. Up first, J.D. Powers and Edmunds say that EV consumer interest has fallen. A shocker. A recent survey says despite the dozens of new electric vehicles that automakers plan to roll out over the next few years, between 19 and 23% of shoppers say they dislike EVs. And the choices. Ford says, okay, well, let's do this. Let's put all of our EV options on the back burner for now and focus more on hybrids. This is all at their Oakville, Ontario plant where all the EV rollouts were to begin in 2025. Let's wait till 2027, they say, and see how it goes then.
Okay.
It all started in Kentucky, as some good things do, and it is a good thing. Krispy Kreme donuts appeared, being at the counter of 160 McDonald's. And they sold out of Krispy Kreme donuts fast enough at the McDonald's for that idea to spread across the country by the end of 2026, according to McDonald's. McDonald's, of course, if you've noticed, dropped their own bakery items because they were horrible, and Krispy Kreme stepped up into that place. Now, just take the next step, we pray. Please, please start making Big Macs with Krispy Kreme donuts as the bun.
They dropped the McDonald's bakery items?
Yes, for the most part. You may have them in odd places like Ames, Iowa, but I don't think they're around here anymore.
I don't even remember seeing them in the first place.
They were in this little keep warm counter thing right by the cash register.
Yeah, they were like apple turnovers and stuff like that, right?
Cookies that you could either eat or use as stepping stones.
Oh, now, this doesn't affect the prepackaged hot apple pie, does it?
Not at all. No, that is in no way a bakery item.
Oh, thank God.
That is a fried food item.
Good. Okay.
Good, healthy.
Yeah.
Is it Mr. Death or something? He's come about the reaping?
The pop culture section now. The Kibbe and Friends study of dead people and other fun facts. No dead people except for one. This week, another big loss in the comedy world. Joe Flattery, the guy who played Happy Gilmore's heckler in the movie Donald.
Yeah.
Joe got his start on Second City along with John Candy and some others. Joe was 82 years old.
You will not make this putt. You jackass.
Recent birthdays, these people are still living. Jackie Chan, 70 years old. Actor Russell Crowe, 60. Did you know John Ratzenberger? He played the Mack truck on Cars, the movie, and a lot of other things. I think another series called Applause, No Cheers.
Yeah.
He was 77 years old. Actor Crispin Glover, 59. You know what he's doing out in the sun without his glasses on? He's Crispin. Rick Morando is 70 years old.
Who?
Rick Morando. He played in that other movie.
Moranis?
That was my first guess.
Rick Moranis.
Moranis.
Yeah. All the birthdays I gave you, I should mention, you guys were on the light side. They will all turn the next age this month. You're all still technically right in the game, though.
By the time you hear this, when you're listening to it right now, Rick Moranis is 71. Crispin Glover is 60 by now. Is that more accurate? Thank you.
You got
all
it.
right. Thank you, NPD. We all have our parts to play in life. You've done your part to make this newscast happen. That's your news.
Outstanding news, Bern. I can't tell you how much this impromptu news is welcomed by all. Wow. Way to go. You put that one away.
That's what 20 minutes of prep will do for you.
Awesome. That means we have enough time to hear one more clip from the Harry Carey film, movie, show, Space, The Next Frontier.
Hey, now, Ken, we all know that the moon is not made of green cheese.
Yes, that's true, Harry.
But what if it were made of barbecue spare ribs? Would you eat it then?
What?
I know I would. Heck, I'd have seconds. And then polish it off with a tall, cool Budweiser. I would do it.
Yeah.
Would you?
I'm confused.
It's a simple question, Doctor. Would you eat the moon if it were made of ribs?
Well, I don't know how to answer that.
It's not rocket science. Just say yes and we'll move on.
Yes.
Hey!
The hay always gets you.
It does. I don't know what Harry Carey sounds like. I only know what Will Ferrell sounds like doing Harry Carey.
It's pretty close.
It's over the top and exaggerated, but you know who he's doing. You know, you never have to guess.
For sure.
Yeah, just Google Harry Carey or on YouTube or whatever and watch some of his outtakes. I mean, it's the real Harry Carey. It's about that crazy.
Okay, up next is going to be our show or movie review. As determined by you, and like this show, this review is presented by Holley. Now, I was perusing the Holley website, and they have events, of course, and they have their spring sale going on right now, of course. But then I found this. This is something I've seen, but not that often. This is the Sniper 2 Bluetooth module. And the purpose of this is to allow you to use your phone to do your EFI tuning, right? So the way that I do it, on my older systems, I use my laptop. I also have the handheld tuner that came with my Sniper, or in my case, just my EFI system. But I've always wondered, wouldn't it be slick to do this on your phone? And there are other systems out there where you can do it on your phone. So I just brought it up. And corn dog, this thing is $200. It does not come with an EFI system. This is an option, but you can choose to purchase this. So thought I'd go through this. The Sniper 2 EFI Bluetooth Module is a cutting-edge solution to take your vehicle's performance to the next level. This high-tech module is designed for Sniper 2 EFI systems specifically, providing unparalleled control and all these great things. The Bluetooth module allows you to wirelessly connect to your vehicle's EFI system using Bluetooth. Experience the convenience of adjusting and optimizing your engine's parameters directly from your iOS or Android-based smartphone. No tablets for now. That's the big thing. Now, here's all the stuff you can do. There's one thing I want to make sure you're clear that you can't do. You can do this. You can wirelessly connect to a Sniper 2. It is compatible with Apple and Android. You can use the built-in Sniper EFI wizard for basic tuning, advanced tuning, I/O control, stuff like that. You can make some basic adjustable tuning stuff. I'm going to skip to this last part. You can't do this part. You can't do data logging, file management, gauge view, or transmission control. Data logging, file management, gauge view, or Sniper transmission control. Now, if those aren't important to you, you can, just using this little module, use your phone and Bluetooth. I can tell you the least fun part about tuning a car is plugging the car into something. It is always handier if you can do it via Bluetooth. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Again, it's an optional component. Maybe they'll make this standard equipment someday. But right now, for $200, you can do this.
So it's not compatible with the original Sniper.
It is not.
The newer one.
It's Sniper 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to try to have Shane Weckerly on from Holley. He is one of their longtime engineers. Had him on years ago. And I'd kind of like to go through the basics of this system. Shane knows everything about everything that Holley makes. He's literally a wizard.
Yeah.
Also has a 64 Chevelle. Super cool guy. He always comes and finds us at Mo Party. That would be cool to have him on. Anyway, I'd like info on the Bluetooth thing, as well as why doesn't it work with the tablets. I don't know enough about apps. I should. But the app for your phone and your tablet are different, even if they're both iOS or Android. Also found that kind of interesting. So there you go. If you want to check that out, go to holley.com. Make sure that you tell them we sent you. And if you don't want that, just go to the spring sale. Get yourself a deal. Should be awesome. Okay. Up next here is going to be a review of something. And just to throw it out there, let me give you the list one more time of what it could be. So we have Spaceballs, Tucker, Dumb and Dumber, Stroker Ace, John Bronco, Forever Young, Gone in 60 Seconds, Duke's filming locations with Corn Dog, the 2014 interview with Elliot Popov on building movie general release, and the Duke's 2000 reunion.
It's still not 3. That's still 30.
Well, I'll whittle it down to 3, but just for fun, you guys got a prediction. We'll all find out together. Whenever the show airs, that's when we'll know. Well, Bernie will know sooner, but
yeah. I bet the film-in locations will get a vote.
Okay. I think it will too.
Not a vote, but
I think you're going to win it. Okay.
Not because of me, but because it's a popular topic.
Totally. I think the one I'd like to win that I don't think will win will be John Bronco. I think it's a little too weird. I love John Bronco.
I'd vote for John Bronco as well. That was good. And I'm hoping that it's terrific. And I'm hoping you won't skew the vote and vote for yourself and we do Forever Young. And I think we've already done it again.
You could be right. Before I put out this quiz, I will go through and see which ones we truly have redone. I know the filming locations we've redone, but again, it's so popular. So with that, up next is the review. I guess we got to do our show closeout right here.
Yeah.
Okay, leave a rating in Apple Podcast. Oh, YouTube Music. I did figure that out. Our show, our podcast, our audio podcast will soon be available in YouTube Music.
So you download it and it would play and you get a blank screen, or it plays as an audio file?
I think it just plays as an audio file.
Okay.
Like I think you would find it in YouTube and click play.
Technology. It's scary.
By this time next week, we'll find out. Burn, anything before we go?
I just want to say I'm glad you had fun at your high school reunion, and I'm not a fan. I went to my 1-year reunion, saw who was left after 1 year, and I said, I'll never be back. They're just sad occasions filled with people I didn't hang out with anyway, mostly. But I would go to a college reunion. I think that would be a lot of fun because not so much time has gone by. You still would recognize a lot of people. You certainly had more to talk about because you were training for the career you probably are in right now. You know me, I went to college in the 80s. It was the best. You guys just missed it. Worked at the campus radio station, got exposed to all this great music that we reference here on the show. some oddball bands, but good stuff that were groundbreaking. Bands like Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. Ever heard of them?
Nope.
Groundbreaking sound. No. Echo and the Bunnymen. Good band. Always underrated. Mm-hmm. Now, this one you've heard of, Oingo Boingo. And you've heard of them because of their lead man, Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman went on to be a A-lister film score producer for a lot of great movies.
I know his name. I didn't know he was in Oingo Boingo.
And he is, I believe, in the Rodney Dangerfield film Back to School. I think that's him, when Oingo Boingo comes and plays in the dorm room. I believe that's him.
Really?
That's still playing lead for that.
Are you making this up?
That one up. No, for real. He's a big deal.
Is this a big, long setup for something?
You're talking about people you want to reconnect with.
Could be.
You're talking about people you want to reconnect with. And one of the friends that we really loved, my roommate and I, he loved a group, another obscure group called King Crimson. And they've been going for years. They probably still have some stuff. I know it's on YouTube. You can actually look this one up. Unusual pop band, a lot of talent. And he turned us on to another local Houston band called the Cloverleafs. Mm-hmm. The Cloverleafs, in that case, was spelled with a K. So his name is Dave, and I'd love to reconnect with him. We had a lot of fun together. He was obsessed with both bands. We drive around, his mixtapes were all King Crimson. And on the other side, it was the Cloverleafs. It was just back to back all the time. King Crimson, the Cloverleafs, Crimson, Clover, over and over.
Yeah. This is why I have that acid reflux.
No.
Jeez. So the flip side is you spent a few minutes on that, or many minutes. I'm not really sure. It's well done. What you didn't do is devote more to the news. So for that, Bernie, I thank you for your excellent news and excellent exit. That's how it's done.
Take the wins where you can get them.
That's production work. All right, everybody, we will see you next week. Listen in for whatever the hell it is we're about to tell you right here. Bye.
Later.
The Kibbe and Friends Show, brought to you by our good friends at Holley Performance. Click the link on our show page and visit Holley.com for everything air, fuel, and performance related for your ride. Connect with us on the socials and at patreon.com/KAFS. See you next week. Later on.
Well, you screwed up again, didn't you? You trusted us. You trusted us to provide you some content and a show to listen to all the way through without having to do a single thing. And once again, we, in epic proportion, have let you down. Well, goes with the territory. Well, what you did do, like you always do, is you helped us out. We put out a call to you to help us figure out how to end the show. We're going to do it with a movie review, one of 3 movies, and the choices were, as you voted on them, the movie Tucker, the Man and His Machine, about the car with a headlight. Good stuff, good historical record there. The other one was Spaceballs. Not a bad choice. Kind of a historical thing for the show. A lot of people like that one. Spaceball fans, you probably got all the merch. What you picked, now secretly it was kind of our pick too, and we're glad you picked it. You picked for the movie review for this show, John Bronco. What a great movie. Well, not even a movie, really, kind of a spoof, kind of a mockudrama, I believe they called it. What a great job. And we have Cody Crafted to thank for that, for coming on the show to give that whole review. And like you're doing the work here, we made him do the work. He did the review. So it's all good. We're going to sit back. We're going to hear that. That is going to be the movie review for this month. So thanks again for doing all of our work for us. We appreciate it. More time to sit on the couch and do nothing before the next show. John Bronco on the Kibbe and Friends Show. Enjoy.
It is called John Bronco. It is starring Walter Goggins as John Bronco, has Tim Meadows in it, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Micro Machine Pitchman guy, Bo Derek, who still looks great, Tim Baltz, and Kosh Adumolalik, the African-American man also named Brad Pitt, whose profession was that of peach pie maker. Produced by Imagine Entertainment and released on Hulu. Cody, have you seen this movie? And if so, can you give us your review of said movie?
I have seen this movie, but not only does it have all those famous people you just named, it also has a brief appearance by Doug Flutie.
Yes, it does.
And is narrated by none other than Dennis Quaid.
I didn't realize that until after the fact. That's why it seems so real, right? I mean, just for the first minute, it seems so real.
He's got notes.
Okay, so we're not going to do IMDb or our summaries. We would like to hear your summary.
You know, there's no better way to describe this movie than its opening song, which starts with the lyric of diamond eyes and titanium thighs. The story of John Bronco. When I ask you, Robert, who is the most famous person who ever lived?
I'd say John Bronco. Yeah.
Well, first it's Bjork, but second
then
it's
John
absolutely John Bronco.
I'm sorry, I'm not from Iceland.
So this movie, until you see Tim Meadows appear on the screen, you really aren't sure how real it is, because it feels very, very real. And it is by far one of the best mockumentaries I've ever seen or heard about, by far. If you enjoyed Team America World Police, you too will love this movie as much as Robert and I do.
Which is another movie I genuinely love.
Yes, very much so. John Bronco, in summary, in the words of Lee Iacocca told the guys at Ford when they went to Baja with the first dirt pony SUV, Lee Iacocca told him to get me the toughest son of a bitch in town. And that was John Bronco. John Bronco, much like Brad Pitt, you know, that is what is referred to as an aptronym. And that is when a person's name is regarded as amusingly appropriate to their occupation. Not unlike baseball's own Cecil Fielder, the Supreme Court Judge Jude Law, the florist Orlando Bloom, and the owner of the Peach Pit, the famous peach pies, Bradley Pitt.
Yeah. African American with blonde hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also Nicolas Cage, the zookeeper, and Sean Penn, the calligrapher. So don't forget those aptronyms. The way this movie starts off is I'm really not sure how real it is for the first 5 minutes. Well, 3 minutes probably. And then you see Tim Meadows come on, and he is agent for the great John Bronco, who was Ford's pitchman for the Bronco starting in 1966. And that ran up until 1995 with the demise of the Bronco, which apparently no one bothered to tell John Bronco. And then as he entered in the Baja 1000 in his 1995 Bronco, it was revealed to him that not only was the Bronco being terminated, but also that Bo Derek had been dating Doug Flutie.
Oh, crap.
And his heart was, truly broken. For 25 years, John Bronco hid out. He just disappeared off the map. The people of Iceland truly love the Bronco. Get off of the fjord and get into your Ford. That's the 5th national motto of Iceland. I don't know if you knew that.
A lot of weird people up there. They're kind of fruity.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. John Bronco also had a racing game, but on the surface, it was a racing game. But in all reality, it's actually a taco assembly video game.
As they are. It's confusing because it sure looks racy, and it is John Bronco with a helmet on.
Well, you guys know how much of a Baja fan I am.
Yeah.
So this movie really hits home for me. I'll tell you, one of the things that I really love was the resurgence, the early 90s Ford slogan, the best never rest. And I remember that logo.
Oh, yeah.
And they show it on the screen a few times. I was like 12 when they were airing that. All my Eddie Brower dreams just came back flooding to me. John Bronco being the pitchman for the Ford Bronco, usually you get a celebrity to be your spokesperson, but this was the first time that a spokesperson became a celebrity. That was the first time in history.
Yeah, it was amazing. He was on Johnny Carson.
I know.
He was in TV shows.
When Ford dropped the Bronco, they didn't tell John, and that was just a Chevy move.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just really some GM shit.
That's right.
Although there was one more commercial that never got aired, and that was the when you've got plenty of room in the back seat for your passengers of your all white 1995 Ford Bronco, and you can just go out on a Sunday drive, but the financing was so good, it should have been against the law. So
just got amazing mileage. You could drive for hours and hours.
For hours. Yeah, the fuel tank on the Bronco is massive, apparently. So thinking back, I really don't know how a 5-liter in that chassis would have been able to go that long at idle. Much less in the speed.
It was a loop video.
Yeah, it had to have been. And then with the resurgence of the new Bronco, Ford has done an amazing job with that. They do find John Bronco, and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for anyone. He is found in Iceland in this little bitty tiny house, and they interview him, and they say, they ask him if he would come back and go to Ford, and he says, "Let me get my go bag." And next thing you know, he's just walking out with a bag of chips. So they take him to Dearborn, and they take him behind closed doors. And I quote, "That's a bona fide ass kicker right there. Like a moon vehicle meets a GD horse." So everybody's looking forward to the new Bronco, that's for sure. Other than just spouting random quotes from a hilarious movie, I would say on a scale of corn dogs, John Bronco gets a legitimate 10, and Walton Goggins absolutely gets a baker's dozen of corn dogs for his performance. He just sells it so good, man. And he was so creepy and Justified that it's just so far removed from that it's just amazing. This movie just cracked me up. This is the third time I've watched it. And I turned it on this morning at 6 a.m. so I could take notes. Guys, I'm telling you, I sat there giggling to the point where my wife came out of the bedroom and goes, "Would you shut up?"
So I had never even heard of it until you suggested it. And your specific quote was, "It's glorious." And
it is.
Here's what makes it so good. A, it's funny. I mean, it's genuinely funny. But it's also so real. They used real archival footage from Ford. They worked with Ford for the new reveal. And the whole idea came up when they released the new Bronco. And the whole line of thinking was, what if the Marlboro Man for Broncos was a thing? So I went and I knew none of this stuff. The Ringer has a good write-up. I'll bet you have better notes than I do. But on the Detroit Free Press, it says John Bronco is directed by Jake Szymanski, who directed Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. He's become something of an amateur in fake documentaries. His previous work includes 2 outrageously funny short comedies starring Andy Samberg, 7 Days in Hell, as well as Tour de Pharmacy, about doping and pro cycling. The concept for John Bronco owes much to Imagine Documentaries president Justin Wilkes and Imagine Brands senior vice president Mark Gilbar, who just happened to be huge fans of the Ford Bronco, the vehicle that made its mark in cultural zeitgeist from 65 to 96. The funniest parts are when they have the Ford historian of John Bronco, who's clearly in Ford. In their archives, you're looking back at all these cabinets of stuff and the lights are off, and he goes, "Yeah, we have the lights off back here. Most of the stuff is really just John Bronco stuff. No real car stuff back here at all."
Yeah.
That's all we got. And he was this rodeo rider that they found to drive their unnamed dirt pony, and that's what it was.
The dirt pony.
And that's why it gets so confusing, because they show that first Bronco run at Baja. I think this is real. Yeah. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is commenting about it. Bo Derek has she dated him, but cheated on him with Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie?
Yes.
Kareem's this came out after I won my 3 championships. John Bronco's the only guy I've ever asked for an autograph.
Doug Flutie did the Ranger commercial, right? And they said, "Hey, do you need another Bronco?" So they have John Bronco in the passenger seat of the Ranger, and they have Doug Flutie throw a football, but it hits him in the face and ruins him.
And they play it over and over and over.
Yes.
Which is why he had plastic surgery in the 80s that froze his face forever. So, as did everyone else.
Tom Cruise and Paul Rudd and somebody else.
And Tim Meadows, he had it too. He goes, "I'm 94 years old right now."
Tim Meadows is all He's all dressed like Elvis's manager, the Colonel. Like he's got a bolo tie and a big sideburns and a big hat.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, we were raking in the money. I'll tell you, man, this is just hilarious. I mean, if you like the kind of movies that Rob and I like Elf and Talladega Nights and all the stuff that we review on this show, like all the stupid stuff you guys like us like, it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
Corn Dog, did you get a chance to watch it all the way through?
Yeah, I watched it. It was different. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, like you said, it starts off and they did a really good job with the footage where you really think, okay, is this legitimate or are they poking fun at it? Or, what are they really doing? It's different.
The music is amazing. They have whole songs about the Bronco as sung by John Bronco, which went to the top of the charts. One of the lines is there, the Bronco has seats so soft you'll get a thank you note from your ass. What does that mean?
I was watching the credits and all the songs, the Ballad of John Bronco and the one that Walter Goggins did, which is the John Bronco song that went to the charts. Yeah, they were done by Jingle J, I think was who it was.
Okay.
I don't know who he is, but it's what it said in the credits on all of them. Written by, produced by, directed by, blah, 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 performed by. And he even did one of the songs and Walton Goggins did the other one.
Let me pull this one because I went and I Googled this. This was on The Ringer, which is an awesome podcast network. But it says in fall of 2019, Walter Goggins, had a quick 2-weekend window to shoot John Bronco. To capture 4 decades of the character's style during a few 12-hour days, the actor brought in Quentin Tarantino's makeup artist, Jake Garber. Adding even more realism, Goggins approximates that there were 100 costume changes in one day. During an intense moment on set, as the hair and makeup team would prepare for the next scene, they told Goggins that they had a 5-minute turnaround, and the actor remembers giving a little side-eye to such notion. I'm like, 5 minutes? What the f*** are you talking about? Goggins says, we're going from the 60s to the 90s. We're maybe going to need 30 minutes. He said, I watched a lot of Sharky's Machine and Burt Reynolds to prepare for it. He did the whole thing in 4 days.
That's amazing.
I can't even fathom that. They got the Micro Machines pitchman in there, John Moshida. I think his name. That's the craziest part. But
I think that's the first thing he's done since the Micro Machines commercials.
He did a cereal or something at one point.
Oh, did he?
Really?
It's been a long time, though. He hasn't done much, that's for sure.
I can't take Tim Meadows without just losing it. It's his delivery of everything. Everything he says just cracks me up. And I have some clips here, but I think I need to know Bernie's review. Because according to the text chain, I'm not going to be pleased with Bernie's review. Bernie, did you see John Bronco? And do you have a sense of humor?
I have a big sense of humor. I'm known for my sense of humor. I have T-shirts that have sense of humor on them. Tim Meadows, when he came on the screen, I was going, what has he been in? What has he been in? And it finally hit me. I wonder now if he's more proud of being in John Bronco or being in Mission to Mars. So he's...
Ooh, ouch. Zing.
He pulled it off. He did a great job on the movie. When Cody was just a boy, you should know this, I went to a frat party in college with my best friend. And when we got back, we wrote a short mockumentary ourselves for a class, and we called it Community Illness. And it tracked the life of a serial cat killer. We got an A in the class for that. And I was immediately taken back to those days after the storyline got going. It's like, this is just cool that you could do this and get away with it. It was almost Mel Brooks-ish that you did it, but I don't know if you could ever do it again, in that vein. On the other side, it's 30 or so minutes I'll never get back in my life, but that's okay. I think I'll watch it again. It's pretty cool.
For 38 minutes, it's well worth it. I mean, that's a great thing about it, is it's so packed in 38 minutes that it's just a giggle fest.
When I got to the end of it, I was so disappointed because I thought that was the first episode of a series of John Broncos. That's it. That's all you get. It's perfection, all wrapped into one big bow. Corn Dog, what would you give this on a rating of 1 to 10 of yourself?
I'm not loving it as much as y'all are.
Surprise.
Is it just because you're not a Ford guy?
It's probably because I've been looking at a Bronco for the last...
You literally just built one of these, right?
Yeah, I'd give it about a 7. It's okay, but whatever.
All right, we're going to go around the horn and get ratings, but I think we need to be pumped up here. This man captured America. Are we clear on this? I mean, he said
Most
the things
famous
that,
person alive.
This is 1 minute, and you need it.
Well, I ain't no hero, but I ain't no nobody neither. Now, I'm just a country boy in dirty boots who's out there every day busting his ass trying to make a living.
Well, you must be exhausted after that grueling drive.
Well, you ever try to tame a wild buck? I work 5-day shifts, 14 hours a day on a factory floor.
Never done that.
Well, driving through the desert with no food or water don't scare you that much. It ain't compared to what the average working man does day in and day out. So if you about to give me a trophy or something, won't you keep it? Take it back to that fancy-ass country club you belong to. Let honest, hard-working Americans like me go eat some fudge. How about that?
Right there.
How about that?
That all struck a chord with the average Johnny, present company included, except for the part where he said eat some fudge. I think that was a heat stroke thing.
It all seems so real until he says eat some fudge. That's what I like. I don't think this is real.
All right, for that, I'll bump it up to an 8. How
Okay.
about that?
Tim Meadows, like how he said fudge.
Go eat some fudge.
Okay, so you're at 8. Bernie, what is your rating of this magnificent movie?
I'm going 7.
7 corn dogs.
7 corn dogs.
I think people thought that he already knew about the news. Why? But to tell him like that, live on air, that's a Chevy move. That's some GM.
That's my response
All right.
to your rating.
All right, 7.5.
Cody and I are clearly on the same wavelength here.
I'm a Bronco. Are you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Do you have any other notes in there? What else? I mean, you have like a whole notebook there.
I did. I took like 2 pages of notes on a 38-minute show.
Well, there was a continuity error. That's, for one. So that's what knocks off some of the points for me, because after John Bronco gets married, they show the outside exterior of the house. In the driveway is not a Bronco. It's a station wagon. Come on.
Can we spoil it? I guess we can spoil it at this point, whatever. It's not his wife. It's a take picture with John Bronco lady. And she made the whole thing up. She's a stalker.
Yes. He is quite shocked when he goes to Ford headquarters. The people who welcome him home with open arms, they think they've brought his wife back. And no, she would like to wear his skin. She's a terrible human being. What the hell, man? I thought you had Bo. Bo Derek, Bo. Is she here? Is Bo coming? Like, no, she's not.
And I love the picture. They Photoshop him in with Bo Derek, that picture from Perfect 10, the black and white with the dreads, and she's got on the like little see-through white shirt, and you see her butt. And she goes, "Oh, I was young and having fun and wasn't thinking. And when I met somebody else who was young and having fun and wasn't thinking, it was just sparkles or fireworks or something."
She is excellent in this. She delivers it all so deadpan funny. Tim Meadows is, he really is like the colonel in there. And when he just delivers these lines of background information, I just can't take it. Like, this is one I got for you.
On the surface, it wasn't anything special. But then all of a sudden, the calls started coming in. Who is this country boy in dirty boots? Where'd he come from? Why is his boot so dirty?
I pulled the new Bronco scene. It's half bleeped already, but it is remarkable. I love this one. You already gave it 10, right?
I'm going to go 10. I mean, I'm a Bronco, so,
I'm a Bronco, too. I'm giving this a perfect 10. I loved it. I can't replace the experience of going into it blind, not really knowing what it is, and just being overjoyed by it, and then learning after the fact all the neat little ways that they work so hard to make this so good. And the clear interaction with Ford. I sent this to Rick Schmidt from National Parts Depot. Like, I said, this is dumb. I know that. Watch it anyway. And I think he's going to watch it. I can't wait to discuss it with him. If this was a move Ford made, I mean, clearly it wasn't their idea, but the fact that they said yes, like, is perfect. I mean,
they filmed it at Dearborn.
They did.
Like, they filmed in Ford's lobby. John Bronco walks up and pokes on his own wax statue in the Ford lobby or the museum. And it's Walton Goggins, somebody poking him in the face.
Doesn't look anything like me.
Rick Schmidt may not renew his advertising.
Well, he's already signed his deal, and the way that you get out of these deals is I can break it pretty easily, but the advertiser can't. I absolutely, utterly loved it. If Ford is smart, they're going to use this, and they should bring him back to do a couple of fake ads for the new Bronco. I think it's a slam.
Yeah, it's some prime YouTube stuff. You know, that little YouTube ads or whatever.
You'd have to know the backstory on it to really understand it, I guess.
That would be what's so awesome about it is half the people watching would just think it's a commercial, and the other half would get the joke. The new Bronco is killer anyway. That thing is going to sell well. The only downside is you can't get the Sasquatch package with the manual transmission, but I get why.
I can fix that.
You can fix about anything. Have you kind of taken a look through the stats on them? I mean, they come out pretty impressive. Would you put a 6-speed in one, or would you buy a 6-speed and upgrade it?
I would probably just stick with the automatic because the 10 speeds are so good. The EcoBoost with the 10 speed. I do have either 6 or 8 customers that have them on order.
No kidding.
Like guys that I already work with that do stuff from time to time that are holding off on other projects. You met my buddy with the Raptor. He has 2 on order.
Why?
A 2-door and a 4-door.
He just wants one of each?
Well, his wife wants a 4-door and he wants a 2-door. And
yeah, I was going to say his and hers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Are they the same color, or what did he?
So he's had a really good, I turned him on back when we were road racing Mustangs. I turned him on to the Boss because he was wanting a Cobra or a King Cobra or whatever, King Snake. And I said, man, really for a driver, the Boss. Well, and then he was thinking about buying another truck. And I was like, dude, you got to get the Raptor. I was like, it's going to hold its value. He's big on like things holding their value.
Yeah.
Well, he's just knocked it out of the park on the values of limited production Ford vehicles. So he's had 3 different Raptors and 2 Bosses, and he owns a business and does pretty well for himself, and he can afford to play on that level from time to time. I mean, he's not like $100,000 show car build, whatever, not like a real collector, but he's got a bigger shop than mine. He's got a few more toys than I do. That's for sure. So, yeah.
We should probably start wrapping things out right about here. Do you have any other John Bronco facts that you think the world needs to know? Because I thoroughly loved it. Thank you so much for recommending it.
It's my pleasure, and I stick it to the man because I'm a Bronco.
I have some more clips. Bernie will stick them afterwards, including John's reaction to the new Bronco. It's pre-bleeped. Might need a couple more on there. Cody already did it. It was pretty awesome. Cody, how can people find you?
Easiest way to get a hold of me is probably through the website. You can get links to the Instagram, the shop phone number, the email, all that stuff. CodyCrafted.com, CodyCrafted.com. At Cody Crafted on Instagram. It's usually where I post most of my stuff, but we're on all the usual social media channels.
Very cool. Just a reminder, people, Cody is the guy who did the full EFI install on Kibbe Lee. Generally, it is as perfect now as it was then. He even let me and Bernie help. It's top-notch install. I mean, just the little things like the weather pack plug that you put in, maybe you don't remember this, but I do, on the fuel tank for power to the pump, as well as the gauge. Like you just put it all together in one weather pack plug. So you just disconnect it, and when you're done, you're done. And then you put the super secret Toyota sound deadener on it on top. Maybe we don't say that. I don't know. That was one you took from an dealership. Maybe you don't want to say that.
No. They call it a squeak and rattle kit, and it's this like shoebox full of random pieces of foam and felt and stuff. I guarantee you that thing is like 10, maybe 15 years old, and I still use it on whatever. It just has this awesome little strips of whatever. If anybody needs it, shoot me a message. I'll give you the part number.
Cody, thank you again. This will not be Cody's last movie review, I don't think. I would like to make this a regular fan. Hot Rod, I think, was one you thought we might do together. I'm all in on that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Also, patreon.com/KF Show is where Patreon lives. Cody's a member. And if Cody knows what's good, you should know what's good too. Don't forget, when you visit Holley, click our link below. Tell them that we sent you, and we will catch you all later. Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.
rodeo rider, a racing champion, a sex symbol, and the greatest pitchman in history. Until he disappeared. Now, for the first time ever, the world will learn the story of
John Bronco.
John Bronco is in the lead, and he ain't giving it up. Ford, Bronco at the wheel.
He drove non-stop, 36 hours.
And he won.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, John Bronco.
a new racing champion had been crowned, and the world was about to be introduced to John Bronco.
I ain't no hero, but I ain't no nobody neither now. I'm just a country boy in dirty boots who's out there every day busting his ass trying to make a living.
Well, you must be exhausted after that grueling drive.
Well, you ever try to tame a wild buck? I work 5-day shifts, 14 hours a day on a factory floor.
Never done that.
Well, driving through the desert with no food or water don't scare you that much. It ain't shit compared to what the average working man does day in and day out. So if you about to give me a trophy or something, won't you keep it? Take it back to that fancy-ass country club you belong to. Let honest, hard-working Americans like me go eat some fudge. How about that? Huh? How about that?
That all struck a chord with the average Johnny, present company included. Except for the part where he said, eat some fudge. I think that was a heat stroke thing.
Who was this mystery man? And what was this mystery car he was driving?
Ford knew they had a big star in their hands. So you know what they did? They told John that they were going to name the car after him. Seemed pretty obvious to me. Bronco is a great name for a truck. And come to think of it, it was the perfect name for a rodeo rider. But that was his given name, John Bronco. It's called an aptronym. Like Cecil Fielder, the baseball player, or Jude Law, the judge. On the surface, it wasn't anything special. But then all of a sudden, the calls started coming in. Who is this country boy in dirty boots? Where'd he come from? Why is his boot so dirty?
I think people thought that he already knew about the news.
Why?
But to tell him like that, live on air, that's a Chevy move. That's some GM.
Sorry, guys, no camera crews allowed in here. This is for John's eyes only. So, here it is, John. The brand new Bronco.
Holy f***ing damn! That is a bona fide ass kicker right there. Look at that.
Sure is.
Holy balls. You really went with the classic design?
Yep.
Like a moon vehicle meets a damn horse is what it is. Now there's a 2-door and a 4-door.
That's right.
Shut your butts. And who's this little guy right here? Look at you. He's sporty little f***er. It's almost like this Bronco gave birth to that Bronco. I thought for sure you would this up, but damn, man.
John, why don't I walk you through what we're thinking for the new campaign?
They offered him the whole kit and caboodle. Face of the campaign. Everything he always wanted.
I just need to go outside.
Oh. Take your time.
Maybe it's like they say. You can't go home again. You can't put together all the pieces exactly like they used to be. But maybe you can make something new from the memories of the past. Maybe that's enough. Just to know that you haven't been forgotten.
Truth is, I've always been a wild horse, and I'm always going to be a wild horse, but I'll always be John Bronco.
Oh, Lord, I was holding that in.